I've had the interview that was conducted by Tucker Carlson and asking the president of Zimbabwe questions that he thought were searching and almost traps. But to his credit, President Nnangagwa acquitted himself very effectively. Because the gist of the question was, if the Rhodesian whites were racists in occupying large tracts of land, are you not being racist now that you are seizing land? And I believe that Nnangagwa answered very effectively. Number one, land did not belong to any race. And the very reason why Zimbabweans fought against Smith and the British was to restore order and to ensure that the injustices that were committed during classical colonization and during the Smith administration was corrected. And what was the issue? The British came in 1890, found Zimbabweans in Mashonaland and in Matabeleland. They treated them as if they were subhuman, seized their land, created something called citizenship. When Zimbabwe regained her independence, some of them chose to be Zimbabweans. After that, everybody recognized that there were historical injustices which ought to be dealt with. There was a meeting in Lancaster that said, yes, we are going to ensure that there is fair redistribution so that people have land that they can till. That did not happen. It became necessary to seize land between 2000 and 2002 and beyond. And it is also true that those who seized land initially in 1890 are long dead, but it is also true that their children and children's children, the bulk of them still are hanging and are laboring under superiority, hangover of superiority complex, and they want to be in Zimbabwe, but they want to live in a bubble where they run their own world. They want blacks in Zimbabwe to continue to be treated as if they were subhuman. Correcting a historical wrong cannot be characterized as racism. And what is important is, number one, to acknowledge that there was a historical problem. That problem started in Berlin in 1884. A people came from their land, from the Netherlands, from the island that is called the British Island, and they came to another people's land, and they seized it, and they now say, no, if you are taking your land back, then you are wrong, you are racist. That cannot be true. And remember that this is the kind of argument that the British have put forth everywhere they have colonized. They put it forth with the Chinese as regards Hong Kong. They did so in India. And in India in 1947, Gandhi told them straight on at a conference in London, our problems are Indian problems. We will solve them like Indians. We will have our problems, but they will be our solution. The Zimbabweans are saying our problems are Zimbabwean, and we'll solve them like Zimbabweans. Call us racist all you want, but we are simply saying that there were historical wrongs which were perpetrated against us, which are recorded in history, and we are going to do so and to correct them despite your protestation to the contrary. You have punished us through sanctions because, in a manner of speaking, they are saying you are essentially thieves who don't want to admit that you are thieves. The entire movement in the world, in the black world now, that is talking about reparations is about the colonialists, the British and the Dutch and the Italians and the French being required to admit we were wrong, we should not have enslaved you. We are wrong, we should not have colonized you. We are wrong because we treated you like subhuman beings. We are wrong, and therefore what we want to do is to compensate you, not because the money will solve all our problems. They are psychological scars, but this is our token of requiring forgiveness from you. But the tragedy is that Western media particularly, and popular media in the West, and those who are still prefects of colonialism and neo-colonialism, want to create the impression that the victim is actually the wrongdoer. That cannot and must not be allowed, and indeed it will not be allowed. And one must applaud President Nnangagwa in standing his ground and telling the world, you made a mistake. You, the British, we are going to take back our land because it is our birthright. The white Zimbabweans, who are the children of those who committed the original sin, may have atoned for their own grandfathers and grandmothers' mistakes if they now come and say, yes, color does not matter. We are all of the human race. We are Zimbabweans. We are going to live with you. We are going to earn our keep. We are going to respect you. And in that way, we build a greater Zimbabwe. Then that is good. And there are many whites in Zimbabwe who are living as we speak and who have accepted to be Zimbabweans. But those who are suffering from colonial hangover will suffer